We're at developer Keoken Interactive to take a look at their streaming setup and ask for tips and tricks for your stream.
My name is Daniel, technical artist here at Keoken. Done a lot of streams, and since the beginning I enjoyed helping it, setting everything up. I help with our current setup.
So for people that don't know, what does a technical artist do?
Very simply put, I am kind of like the bridge between programming and art. Also helping with the streams.
How did that come to be?
We started off a long time ago. I think it was 6-7 years ago with having a Kickstarter, and at some point we also started doing streams, and that was a lot of fun. It was very janky. We did not have all the appropriate gear. It was just a webcam, just the mic of that webcam. But it garnered a little bit of attention. So slowly we started increasing our budget for the streams. We added better cameras, got better webcams. And so, yeah, at the moment, we have a way bigger setup.
Yeah, because we're currently sitting in the studio.
Yeah.
What do you think is like the most important thing to like focus on? Like what should they get? What should they think about?
I think the best starting point is at least one decent camera, maybe two, if you have the budget. Start off with like a simple handycam that's usable with a computer, because not all the cameras are created equal. Some might not have an interface to work with a PC. I think most these days will. It depends on what type of streams do you want to make. Are you doing it personally, like one person sitting behind a computer and showing some dev things? Then you probably have enough with one cam and a good mic. But if you are with multiple people, you're going to need a table like we're sitting on with two chairs and like a more podcasty feel where you talk about things a lot more. And if you have even more people playing a game, watching a movie, commenting on that, as if giving the viewer the feeling that you're also viewing with them, you might want to have a more direct face contact as if you're sitting in a cinema. So we have like 4 cinema seats here. That gives the viewer a bit more of an idea that you're looking with them, and then you can look into the camera if you're talking to them. We have these Rode pod mics, they're stands. Those are, they're ideal. We use them together with a Rodecaster Pro, and it has like all presets specifically for these mics. So that makes it very easy to set up. You don't have to do any equalizing or anything. It's just Rode knows exactly what these mics are, and their mixer will work perfectly with it.
And then headphones, because you might not think about that, but if you're even doing a conversation like this, it's really convenient to have the headphones.
So what we chose are the DT770 Pro from Biodynamics. It works really well because they're closed. So it's nice to have closed headphones so that if you put them on, you don't hear as much from the outside world. And as well, if you have like direct feedback from your mic, so you hear yourself talking, it helps if they're closed as well, because you actually hear how you sound instead of hearing your own voice reverberate through the room and everything.
Yeah, and I think that people probably need to keep in mind that if you use a USB mic, could be that you don't get instant feedback. And if you don't get instant feedback, it's going to be really, really, really tough listening to yourself. So make sure that you only do that with instant feedback.
You have open as well. That's nice if you just are on your own. It's not that bad, and you can not have your own voice over the headset. That's fine. You don't always need that. But if you're talking with multiple people and your mixer might not support sending a specific channel to or not to certain headphones. So for example, we want the people to hear each other through the headphones, but that means they will also hear themselves. So we need that instant feedback.
You obviously need cameras, right?
Yeah, so we have 2 or 3 Sony ZV-1s, I think. They support direct HDMI out, and they're just USB charged. They're just small handycams.
So if you use a DSLR camera, you can do that, but if you stream for a couple hours, you might break the lens in a sense. So it's not a good idea to use like a DSLR camera. Keep that in mind if you want to get a camera for your stream.
Paul wanted to do everything in 4K 25 FPS. So everything is in 25 FPS, and we try to keep it that way, and we try to set the ISO to auto, so that's automatic, but we set a fixed frame rate and shutter time. So every frame is actually getting the full 25 of the camera. You don't get noise from the ISO. That was trying to compensate. Set the lowest ISO you can. or just set it to auto and make sure that the shutter speed is the longest you can get it.
And you're making use of a dual PC setup for it.
For a short time, we had one PC, but every time we wanted to play a game, it was kind of a hassle. That was because we have one person sitting behind the desk managing the stream, but then if on the same PC somebody needs to play a game, that management is not possible. So we added a second PC for actually doing stuff on, like playing a game.
You also have a monitor that's facing us right now. Why is that?
Well, besides, of course, it's nice to hear yourself through the headset and the mics. It's also nice to see yourself so you can present yourself nicely and you don't slouch or hang over, or you're half out of screen or anything. You can position yourself, you can see what the stream is like, especially in a setup like this where you're not the person streaming.
Yeah.
Like, you're not behind the wheel in that sense. And
you have to trust that person.
Yeah, you have to trust that person, and this way you still have feedback of what you're doing.
And I saw that you're also making use of the Elgato Stream Deck.
We use it for switching scenes. For example, when we're at the podcast setup like right now, we might want to show a trailer, so that can pop up. We want to switch the whole scene and play the trailer, or we can place markers for Twitch, so you can always find what you were doing or like a notable moment.
Yeah, and then you can use that for social media.
Exactly.
And do you guys download the streams back, or do you also record the streams locally on the PC?
We record them locally on our PC. There's no reason to stream it and then download it again.
And then you will have it in 4K as well.
Yeah, exactly. So we have the full resolution file at the high bit rate, and we can always upload edits or do some editing in-house and then upload a shorter cut to YouTube or for shorts or whatever. If
the stream looks better, you think that would influence the amount of people that will come to the stream?
Yes, but I think a big part of what makes a stream look good is not necessarily how much you've spent on your camera. If you look at how good smartphone cameras are these days, you can probably do a stream with your phone.
Yeah.
And it's going to look amazing if you set it up nicely. So you have good lighting, try to have natural lighting if you can. If you have like a big window, it's not a bad idea to have that light your face. And if you don't, you could get a ring light or some overhead lights, like bigger flat LED panels or something like that that can light your face. It can be smart to put them a little bit lower than you would like, so they light up your chin and you don't have like big or droopy eyes. You know, that stuff is always very hard to hide. And unless you can see a lot of streamers, they put on a lot of makeup to hide everything, but it's way easier to use good lighting. Don't make it too white. It gives you a little bit of a washed out look sometimes, so you can make it a bit warmer. In my opinion, that will make it look more appealing to people to watch, to make it more.
And you can do that with cheap lights as well.
Yeah, you can
just have to be more creative.
Exactly. You can put down any lamp. It will work, it will give light.
So what do you think that streaming has brought to Keoken?
Lately, of course, it's brought us personally a lot of fun. Back when we started with the company, we had a Kickstarter and we needed to raise money in our Kickstarter. We were streaming. And then at some point, a huge streamer from Germany, his name is Gronk, he saw us streaming, and then all his fans came over to our stream as well. And that kind of pulled us over the edge of our Kickstarter. So that has brought us, I think, you could maybe even say this whole company, because I think without that, it would have been a lot harder. Sometimes we also, with our Keoken account, we jump into chat with other streamers, just streamers, game streamers specifically, that play our game. And then we say, oh, how are you enjoying the game? And you can see that they like the fact that we as a developer do that, because it's not standard apparently. It's not normal yet. But for us it feels very natural, and we can give tips or whatever, or say, oh, have you found this Easter egg? And then they can go looking for it, and yeah, that type of interaction is a lot of fun, and it brings us a lot of goodwill.
Well, thank you so much for talking about the studio and taking us on your journey.
Of course, thank you for being here. My pleasure.
Watch the full interview on my gameplay channel.